moment that we all have been waiting for. As we now will be placing in the spotlight, singer reggae artist RHP Jarrod's the journey into the life of this artist. Blessed good afternoon to you, sir. How are you doing? What's the vibes like?
Let's say love and greetings, brother Fanzo. Give thanks, man, for
Greetings,
hosting, you know? Yeah, man.
greetings,
Praise and blessings,
greetings,
man. Praise
greetings.
and blessings. Man.
Greetings. And of course, our listeners on Facebook, social media, and on the radio have been listening to the songs by Ja Roots. Now, I must say, the songs are roots. It is deep, it's rooted, and it's conscious. So that says a lot about the artist himself. Once again,
Give thanks.
RHP, Ja Roots, we give thanks for allowing time out to be here with us, to giving us the opportunity to journey into the life of this great reggae
Yeah, man.
artist,
Yeah, man. It's my
Jarrod.
pleasure to be here, man. It's my pleasure to be here. And I thank you again for hosting, you know? Good
Welcome again.
opportunity.
Jarrod,
Yes,
your
brother.
musical journey.
My journey. Um, Music has been in me still forever. Forever. It's just something that's in the blood, you know? Um, I've been writing ever since I was a child. A lot of poetry in school and whatnot when I was in grade school. But I started to perform, I would say, in my teenage years, you know, in high school. We did some performances in the local schools for assemblies and whatnot. And that's what kicked off the performance side of things, you know. But everybody
Lovely.
goes through, yeah, go through.
Yeah, lovely. That you mentioned, your early childhood. That's where your journey really started. By at an early age, you started writing poems. Can you please let us know where, obviously, you're coming from, the island, what country you're coming from, and as we go along, we could share a bit more information as to what life was
Yes,
like
sir.
for you as a
Not a
child.
problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. So I was born here in Toronto, Canada, in Scarborough, East Side, you know, and I left here at a very young age and did most of my growing up in the Caribbean islands. I spent some time in Guyana, I spent some time in Grenada, spent a lot of time in St. Lucia, and I spent most of my time growing up in an island called Haiti. So big up Haiti if you know. And this is where the creative side started to come out, you know. It was during my childhood in Haiti.
Now, wow, that's amazing, people. Because you could obviously hear from the artist the influence he would have had. Because he has been around. I mean, he was born in Canada, like you said, and have the opportunity to live in several Caribbean islands. Now, why? What's special about Haiti? Because you said it all started in Haiti. Take us back in Haiti. What was going on at the time in Haiti, and how it started there?
Hmm. Um, Haiti is an absolutely beautiful island. It is truly beautiful, and it has a very, very rich history. One that everybody should take the time to study. You will learn a lot about the resilience of a people, right? And the favor that the universe, the divine, has in them. And it stems far across the Caribbean islands, not just Haiti, because we are one people. But Haiti specifically is where I started my journey as a child, coming up, trying to navigate through life and find yourself, you know? And I started to write at a tender age. Poetry, it started with poetry, mainly because, you know, as a child, you might have a little crush on one of the girls in your class and you write her a little poem. I used to do stuff like that, you
Right.
know, but it transformed later on into something much greater, and I'm grateful for that, you know.
Now, of course, now I'm quite intrigued to find out although you mentioned that the journey started in Haiti, you started writing, but what would have triggered you to pick up the pen and put lyrics together? What would have triggered that sort of attitude?
I would attribute that to DNA because I come from a line of musicians, you know. My uncle, my father, they were all in a great band known as the True Tones in St. Lucia, one of the island's greatest products, one of. And so it was just a matter of time before that would trickle down into my daily routine, in finding myself again. It's just something that happened naturally. I just started to write and things started to make sense. And
Jarrod.
within my journey as a man, when Jack called me, when I heard that call and I answered that call, this is when things started to gel, and the journey, the lyrics, the lyrical content, everything started to make a lot more sense and have more direction. When the Father's hand is in anything, it's perfect.
Jarrod,
Yes,
what
sir.
was the situation for you in Haiti? How would you best describe yourself? Would you say that the struggle was real, or you were quite all right financially speaking? What sort of house did you grow up in Haiti? What was the experience like for you?
Haiti was a blessing. I have to say that. It was I saw a lot. I there was basically growing up in the years that I was there, there's two sides of the coin. You either had it or you didn't. And I am grateful that I was on the side of the coin where I had it. That was a stepping stone, I guess, It's a blessing. Many people struggle, come from some real extreme poverty. When I talk about two sides of the coin in Haiti, I'm talking there was extreme poverty, and then there was those that were very well off, and there was no middle
Right.
ground there. There was no middle ground. So it was tough. It was tough in regards to finding that balance because you have contact with people of all sorts of hierarchy, I guess, range within the hierarchy in life. As a child, you want to you just gravitate towards love. As a child, you gravitate towards having fun, towards whatever makes you sing out for joy. But you grow and you see that there's a separation in 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 the economics of things, in the social structure of things, and you start to ask questions. You know, this was me, at least. I started to ask questions like, why is it that these guys don't get to do these things and these guys get to do it? It doesn't make sense. As a child, you don't you have but you learn, you live, you learn, you understand certain things about the game that is being played, and that was it. But to answer the question, I'm grateful I was on the side of the coin where I was not struggling. It was a blessing.
Now you also mentioned that you got the calling, you got Jack calling. Explain that to our listeners and what did that do towards the development of your musical career?
Jack Carlin, that's something very difficult to explain and put in words. It's something that, if I have to put it in words, the best thing I can say is it's something that is deeply rooted within the depths of and origins of creation itself. It's the same vibrational sound and power that created all things in the universe put a spark of itself in all things in the universe. And not everybody or everything is able to connect with that, because when the call arrives, it's something that literally pulls you. It's a literal pull. It's like when you're out in the field playing as a child and you hear your parents calling you or your mama calling you from the porch saying, "Come inside." You know you have to turn around and go. There's no fight, there's no struggle. You know you were called, you go. And this was it. Everything is crystal clear when you answer the call of Jah. There is no confusion. And when I received my call, there was no confusion. It was just, this is for you to do, and I am to do it. That's all.
Heritage is that you receive the calling of Jah and you respond. The name RHP, Jah Roots. Explain to our listeners, how did you come up with that name and the definition of RHP?
Hmm. Well, so it was in high school where one of my, I guess, contemporaries, the elder contemporaries or whatsoever, you guys you would look up to, the in high school, one of them gave me the name Roots, and yeah, he just called me Roots from that day, and it just stuck. Everybody, he called me Roots, and then as I grew older and start to really understand myself within my role as a Rastafari, Jah Roots came in, and then further living the liberty and treading where I have to tread and learn what I have to learn. It brought me to a place, a beautiful place called Bobo Hill. Bobo Hill is in Jamaica, 9 miles out of the bloody city, Kingston. And this is where the EABIC, which is the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress,
Alexa,
is
power off.
headquartered. This is where they are headquartered. And within my journey as a Rastafari, when I found myself there learning the order, learning the levity, all men who pass through there get a title. So it's not me one. And your title is, you're either the right honorable prophet or you are a right honorable priest. I am a right honorable prophet. So when you hear RHP, it is right honorable prophet Jarut. That is me.
And have you used, because you said that obviously, have you used Rastafari as your spiritual guidance and how has that impacted on your music that we hear? Early on, we played a few music coming from Jah Roots. Has your spiritual guidance, Rastafari, impacted on your music and how has it impacted on the music, if yes?
Well, it's definitely impacted on the music. That's all I want to sing about. That's all that the world needs to hear about. We've really heard enough of the foolishness, for lack of a better term. I mean, music is an international language that transcends boundaries, and a lot of the musical platform is being used for foolishness. So, me personally, if such a platform is available, I would like to use it to educate ones on their own culture, on their own self, whether they take the lesson or the knowledge is their own thing. But for me, I know I have my calling as a Rastafari from His Majesty, like the studies that I've done. When you trad and you study what you study, that you cannot erase facts. And once you know facts, it alters your movement and your direction and how you operate. You can't. It's like you open your eyes. You cannot go back to the foolishness. You have to trod straight now because you know better. So in that regard, this is what I sing about. I just cannot sing about anything else. I love my Jah too much. I love my life too much. I love the blessings too much. I love Selassie too much to sing any kind of foolishness.
Lovely. Now, you described to us earlier on that the journey started in Haiti, where you realized that you could write. At early age, you started writing poem, etc. From being able, from having the ability to write, how or when rather did the music started after you come to that realization that hey, definitely you have the skills and you could write, you could put lyrics together, but take us to when you got that consciousness that you could actually put music together and produce songs, how it all happened.
Um, that again kind of happened naturally, you know. Uh, growing up, growing up, my parents used to play a lot of beautiful, beautiful music in the house. Beautiful music, everything from Al Jarreau, Stevie Wonder, Bob Marley, just you name it. They played beautiful music. So I grew up hearing this. I grew up in a very musical household. And again, when it was my time to pour myself out on paper, it just happened naturally within like a child growing up and learning to ride a bike, right? You start with your training wheels and then little more the training wheels come off and then you know you're pedaling by yourself and then you're gone. So I start writing as a child. It's just a hobby. I enjoy doing what I do. As I get older and continue to nurture this hobby, I get better with it. I'm hearing beautiful music as I grow around, as I grow up. Once I started performing, it got me connected with other people that do the same thing on other platforms. And then I got introduced to some producers. Some producers said, hey, listen to this. And it would be an instrumental. I would hear the instrumental and then something would just come out. It would just come out naturally, melodiously. And I give thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
man.
for that, Jarrod. Now, listeners, we'll be going for a music break. When we come back, we'll be talking to singer reggae artist Jarrod. We'll be listening to the song called Tribal War by Jarrod. And when we come back, he'll be talking to us about the inspiration and how this song was developed. In the meantime, keep it locked.
This girl episode representing for Fancy Black on UBC Radio. Keep it locked.
And if you're just joining in, my name is Fonsa Black, and I'm talking to a singer reggae artist, RHP Jarrod. You're listening to Tribal War. When we come back, he'll be talking to us about that song. In the meantime, kick back, relax, enjoy.
All right. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Fancy Black on the fire zone, I say. Well done, well done. Have the work here, shell down. Shell down.
Tribal war. Whoa, what are we fighting for? Love is the cure.
DJ Fancy
Just
Black,
you
the
open
artist
up that
DJ
door.
on
Tribal
UBC
war.
Radio.
It's from shore to shore.
Roots and culture.
Everybody wants more. And don't want to feel insecure. So they grabbing at yours. Steady grabbing at mine. While the earth is the Lord's. All things in space and time. You are truly divine. No blemish, no fault. Every fruit got a vine. Every man got a right to shine. Tribal war. Whoa, what are we fighting for? Love is
Hey
the
y'all, it's Features are in the fire zone, chilling with Fonso Black on UBC Radio, the one and only. That's what's up,
Set
fam.
every nation afire. And envy, power struggles and jealousy. Tribal war. Whoa, what are we fighting for? Love is the cure. Open up the door, tribal war. No war, generation scarred over savage war. What have we been taught? Why secular affairs we run?
Let go be
Control, walk the path. Just sit up in a Zion and a laugh. Tribal
It is them that I'm
war.
representing for UVC Radio. UVC Radio, you're the top. So you are trapped. There is a radio station named Drop. So them flap. Glamour cancel that. Do your thing,
Tribal
Welcome back. My name is Fonso Black, and I'm talking to singer reggae artist RHP Jarus as we place him in the spotlight to reveal the story behind his big story to help understand the culture of reggae music. Ja Roots, the song Tribal War. For me, it means so much because we've seen those things happen years, many, many years ago, and it's still happening. So, tell us, what triggered that consciousness, that consciousness that allowed you to put pen and paper and came up with such a meaningful song?
Hmm. Um, I feel like I was just a medium. When I wrote that song, I was just a medium. The pen was doing its thing. There was something else happening. The music played, it spoke to me, and this is what just came out. And most of the time when I write, that's how it is. I'm just a medium. But that song there, that song is yeah, it's a powerful one. I will say, if I do say myself, Tribal War. A lot of it has to do with just what I've seen, what I've experienced as well. But a lot of what I've seen and just put together that just didn't make sense in how the world is running. How is it that there is so much? When I say the word abundance, abundance is everybody's birthright. Why is it that we are struggling for everybody to get a piece of a pie that belongs to them? And so that is where that message is coming from. That perspective, that angle of approach of why. Why is it that the world is so? It makes no sense. There's good and evil. We know good is always gonna overcome evil. But for so long, evil is prevailing. Why are we letting that so? Because of personal gain, because of ego, and because of just everybody wants to do something. This in the early part of the song, I say, steady grabbing at yours or steady grabbing at mine. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants. And there's nothing wrong with wanting because you absolutely deserve. But when what belongs to you is being held by somebody else, something ain't right. And when the same person that has what is yours doesn't want to give it up and is still taking more, something is not right. Every man has a right on this planet to shine and be something. And this is the tribal war that we need to cut out.
Now, through your music, what it is that you are trying to convey to the wider world out there? Because we could hear the consciousness in your music. It's rooted and it always seems to be addressing a situation, you know what I mean? Like the one early on, tribal war. We've seen wars happening all across the world, tribal war to be exact, you know what I mean? And obviously, when you put together a song like that, thousands of persons out there would be able to relate, identify with that music. So, generally speaking, what it is that you are trying to get to the wider world through your music, Jarrods.
Love. Love one another. Jah is love. It's a simple thing. Love is the real healing energy. Now, when I say love, I don't mean a docile kind of love or a all-inclusive kind of love where anything goes. I mean, love yourself. Love this earth that you were put on. Love the people that are around you. And when I say love yourself, by loving yourself, you have to give yourself the best. Discipline yourself and walk in a purpose and an order so that when you love yourself in such a manner, you can love another one and correct one when you see them slipping. And ask for that same correction, because if your brother or your sister is truly loving themselves, they will correct you if they see you slipping. So love one another is the ultimate message. Love this planet that we were given because it's for all of us. It's not for one. It's for everybody. And we all have a role to play in bringing Mama Earth back to herself and her healing. And your role doesn't have to be another man's role. You do your role from right where you are. Figure it out. It's, it's in you.
Jarrods,
Oh
as a
Lord.
conscious reggae artist, where do you see reggae? How do you see reggae currently? Are you satisfied with the lyrical content you hear coming from reggae artists? Or there is a change that needs to be addressed? What is your opinion on this current issue as it relates to the music, the reggae that we're hearing today?
I love reggae music. I love reggae music. There's there's a lot of fun reggae music that's coming out. Yeah, you're supposed to enjoy yourself in life too. However, there is a thin line between enjoying yourself and defiling yourself. And yes, there's a lot of reggae music that is out right now that's completely defiling up the place. It is what it is, you know. I'm not telling nobody nothing. Everybody can sing whatever their heart desire to sing. Just you have to know yourself. I know that I sing in conscious reggae music and open up a part of people's brain that's been stagnant. Make them stand up right again.
Now that you have gotten that consciousness, what would you say to younger artists wanting to become a reggae artist? What advice would you say to them in terms of keeping them grounded, keeping the lyric positive like yourself?
Just be real with yourself, love. Seek God, man. Put God in everything you do. You can't falter. Read a lot. Read a lot. Because when you read, you'll learn things and it can give you writing content. But live your life, live a good life, and just be real, and it will transfer in your music.
Thank you so much for that. Again, we'll be going for another song break. We are talking to singer reggae artist RHP Ja Roots, placing him in the spotlight as he revealed the story behind his big story. We'll be hearing the song title track Truly. And when we come back, Jairus is here to talk to us about that song right here on UBC Radio, the sound that binds us together.
You're now in tune to Bonzo Black on UBC Radio. Keep it locked.
If you just joining in, my name is Fonsa Black, and we are talking to singer reggae artist Ja Roots. The title track is called Julia.
Oh, truly, love jam more than
Roots
diamond
and
and
culture.
ruby.
Roots and culture.
All the foolery cannot move me. Naturally,
Chris, yeah, UK with it. And Alfonso Black are playing on the fire zone. Keep it locked. Rocky gun them out, you know?
in a perfect love. Truly, oh truly, love jam more than diamond and ruby. All the foolery cannot move me. Natural is the mystic that moves me. Eh, ah, ah, ah. Eh, ah, eh, ah, ah, ah. Truly, more than diamond and ruby. Vanity cannot save your soul. Envy grudge cannot play no role. Long as Jah by my side, not a slip, not a slide. I and I jot the victory road. Ease the pressure in a heavy load. Fill my cup and let it overflow.
You're in the fire zone with Fonso Black on UVC Radio.
The most I provide, feel it in the breeze that blow. Truly, love jam more than diamond and ruby. All the foolery cannot move me. Natural is the mystic that moves.
You know it's Aisha Nova representing for Fonso Black on UVC Radio.
More than diamond and ruby. When them idols fade away and far right love still remains, not a one can deny them powers divine. Come what may, lion conquer, firm in stance, and love is the answer. Take some time, hold that joy. Love jam more than diamond and ruby. All the foolery cannot move me. Natural is the mystic that moves me.
Roots and culture. Roots and culture.
Eh, ah, eh, ah, ah, ah. Truly, more than diamond and ruby. Yeah, cover me in this time and always. Watch over me throughout all time and days. Yeah, cover me in this time and always. Watch over me throughout all time and days.
Hi to the good people, of course. If you're just joining in, my name is Fonsa Black, and I'm talking to singer reggae artist Ja Roots. You just heard the song in the background. The title track is called Truly. Now, Ja Roots, what was your mind frame like when you was met in that song? Talk to us, because the song again, it speaks for itself. The title track, Truly. But for the benefit of our listeners out there, tell us the mind frame. What was going on?
Just just praising Jah. You know, I heard the rhythm. I heard the rhythm, and this is what came forward, you know. Again, I was a medium, you know, and it just spoke a truth to me same way because it's truly that's all it is, truly. I love Jah more than diamond and ruby. I don't fancy those things, you know. I mean, understand we come from greatness as a people, right? We have a rich history behind us, further back than what they tell us in school. You know, that's very rich and beautiful. And we look at individuals like if you study a man called Mansa Musa, if you ever heard of him, Mansa Musa was one of the richest men in history. I cannot remember the date in which he was around, but this was ancient times, same way. Mansa Musa, richest man in history. Look him up. He used to pass through towns and bankrupt the city because of his entourage being so large and the the gifts that he would leave that he would leave behind him to poor people and whatnot. He this is the type of people that we come from. These are melanated individuals, you know. So greatness like that, but at the same time, all these jewelry and these riches and whatnot doesn't cut it, you know. It's what we have, but who taught us to glorify these things? You know, we used to walk on streets made of gold. Who taught us to glorify, like, let me cut off a piece of this street and make it a necklace and put it around my neck? It made no sense. You know, these natural minerals that we glorify for vanity purpose, it's just earth, man. Earth runnings, bro. And they have their need and their use within the earth where they're supposed to be, you know? So with that regard, when we reconnect with ourselves and love Mama Earth and love Jah and do what we're supposed to do on this earth, the imbalance will shift. So not to go off topic, but we come from such a greatness, it wasn't vain to us. It was just regular. It was just the road is gold. So why make it an issue now where we're glorifying this thing? These things are idolatry, which just said we know if you do. Don't idolize and don't build no graven image. And all of these things that or what we glorify right now. We have to let go of that. We're
How
glorifying the
important
vanity.
it is to you being mindful of the lyrical content that comes from your song? And if yes, why is it so important? Because the reason I'm asking that question, quite often we hear, you know what I mean, artists sing songs and the lyrics are, you know what I mean, all addressing all sorts of issues. It might be gun related or criminal activity, derogative towards women. You as a conscious artist, why is it so important? Or why you are mindful of the lyrics that we hear coming from Ja Roots?
Again, music is power. Music is a very powerful language in itself. And you can easily lead the masses astray with what is put out. Um, it's very important for me to maintain that consciousness because I feel like that words are spells, yes? And if you're putting out negative words, you're gonna be surrounded by a negative life. It's just gonna follow you everywhere you go. And you're gonna wonder why. If you're putting out positive words, positive will surround you. Not saying negative ain't gonna find you either, but the positive will serve as a great buffer. So if you can influence a mass with words and frequency music behind the words, you can carry them left or right. And if the music that backs the words is derogatory and negative, you're going to be bouncing and dancing and vibing because the music pumps to their bloodstream and sounds good, you know, and they're going to be off in a hypnosis on whatever the lyrics is telling them to go do, you know. Everybody's got a gunman. Everybody's a gangster. Every woman wants to go twerk herself. That's what the lyrics are saying, and that's what you see the masses doing. So if I have a platform, or if anybody else out there has a platform where you can, musically speaking, you can influence and you can change the frequency, because that radio station don't make it right now. Change the frequency, find another radio station that's playing something a little more positive, that we can see the difference when they hear the music. You can see them straighten up themselves. You can see them dealing with one another on a day-to-day basis with respect and honor. Two big words that are lost. Respect, honor. I'll even add one more: manners. These are big things. We may think it's you know you're weak if you show these signs. Respect and honor and manners. No, man. There's a great strength in positive and power. You're opening doors. You're breaking barriers and moving mountains when you have respect and honor and manners.
Let's talk about performance. Take us back to your first performance, and what was that like for you, being on stage, having control of your audience? Explain to us, what is the power behind that? How do you take control? How do you allow yourself to interact with your fans whilst on stage?
You just have to have fun. Um, don't take it too seriously. Enjoy yourself. Take it seriously, but don't take it seriously, if you get me. You know, interacting with the crowd to me is a part of the whole performance. I might be there on stage as in the spotlight performing to them, but it's an interaction. It's an energy exchange, same way. You know, I'm in the spotlight, but they're receiving what I'm putting out. So I kind of feel like I have to interact to some degree, so that I know that they're paying attention, not only for them but for me, so that I know that, okay, they're listening. Or if they're not listening, get them attention. Make them listen. This is a mighty word. It's food. The word is food. It's healing. I don't know if that answered the question, but
Now, of course, yes. Talk to us about, because quite often we see the artist on stage, the physical artist performing, moving from left to right on the stage. Now we know, Jarrod, based on your music, that you are rooted, you are conscious, and most of all, you are Rasta. So take us behind the scenes, take us beyond the physical performance, and let's divert ourselves into the spiritual side of things, in allowing your energy to touch your fans. How that has been done. Do you know what I mean? Walk us through that experience.
I I just be myself. I just be myself. You know, I'm there to deliver the word. The word that's in the form of my music. Which is whatever message that the higher power has that used me to tell it. I'm just here to deliver that, and it just comes out natural, I guess. I'm enjoying what I do. I love people, and I like to interact with people. Everybody is a reflection of the all. And I like to make the connection with people and feel them and see, okay, where you at?
Thank you so much for that. Now, will we go in for our last musical break? And the song that we're going to play this time is called Father Divine, again by Jarrod. When we come back, the artist will be telling us much more about that song right here on UBC Radio, the sound that binds us together.
You're listening to the greatest radio station on the planet, UVC Radio.
Roots and culture.
I commit no crime. My Father divine, who space and time I shan't live a patient crime.
Funk so black, just because you tickle girl fancy, crawl like a Nancy, give them sweet loving and have no romancing when you tickle her fancy, crawl like a Nancy. Well, this is Galaxy, yes, a funk so black.
Roots and culture.
Through space and timeline, I shan't live a patient crime.
If you're fans of black, give them a musical shock and a musical attack.
Bearing the glory. Why world politicians lie, defying all truths and rights. They say they rewriting true story. They set gins and snares and traps, and they got stolen artifacts. Scrolls and treasures dating way back when kingdoms rise and fall from attack. Them a pirate. Wow. Everything they violate. What a woe. Oh, come walk with ya. Ever ready comforter. Ever ready provider. Decider and guider, Jah will handle affairs unseen. Just you keep your hands and your heart clean. That's the far I know. Just the same is a battlefield. No time. I come
UVC Radio.
my Father divine, through space and timeline. I know life ain't always a bed of roses. That I gave you choices in everything.
Roots and culture.
Must take your time. Everything will be fine. You are a living prophecy, extended royal legacy. Come free your mind from your worries and problems. Don't dim your shine. Pick up your courage and chat, friend. Another victory over them. Justice we come to defend. Truths and rights and equality over every part of humanity. Another victory over them. Justice we always defend. All right in justice.
Welcome back, and of course, I am talking to singer reggae artist RHP Jarrett, and you just heard the song in the background, and the title track is Father Divine. Now, personally, I love the music, I love the lyrics that come from that song. Yeah, Jarrett, over to you, Father Divine. Talk to us
Yes,
about
sir.
that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I gotta say that one really, that one touches me too. That one is once again me just being the medium, but the it was powerful coming true. I remember that one vividly because even while I was saying, while the chorus was coming to me while I was writing the song, it was very real. I say like this is for me, and to me this is for anybody out there that say they represent God. that say that they are a man or a woman of right, of righteousness, of uprightness, you know? And if you represent the creator, and if you represent the love, if you represent Selassie, if you represent Empress Men, and if you represent all these things that are balanced, if you represent Christ and you represent the kingdom, if you represent all of this, why would you slip? Why would you try and go do something foolish? Why would you try when you know who you represent is the master of all things and can bless or can curse? So what? No time, I commit no crime. My Father divine rules space and timeline. He sees and knows all things. Move upright. Move upright and have some confidence. One of our teachings at Bobo Hill, if you do the wrong and you do it in confidence, why make you don't think that you can do the right in confidence? Because people out there are moving wrong confidently. So where's the confidence in the right and the correction? This is what we want to restore. Confidence in our righteousness. We represent the creator of all things in creation, far and near, seen and unseen. We're making a move right. This is for the masses. And for all those who say they represent the love and God, no time, commit no crime. Move upright, man.
Thank you so much for that, Jarrod. Take us into studio, into production of your music. When you sit down with your sound engineer, how did you get the inspiration that this is the type of rhythm, this is the sound that you're looking for? What triggers that consciousness within your
Hey,
soul that this is exactly what you want? Share that with us.
yeah, I big up, big up, big up, big up Sheila and Buckler every single time. Sheila and Buckler rhythms, yo. The man is a genius. Seen? It's that simple. Yes, I. Yeah. My producer is a magician. He knows what he's doing with the rhythm and pairs it very well with my vocals. And we present you what we present. But it's really that simple. He will make the rhythm a beautiful rhythm, and then I will write to it. Whatever magic goes on in his brain while he's making his rhythm is spectacular, and it transfers over here. I hear a rhythm and a magic takes place. I write the music, I write the song, and sit in the studio, we record it, do a few backup vocals and whatnot, and then mix and master, and there you have it.
Wow, amazing. Listeners, we are talking to singer reggae artist Jarrod as we place him in the spotlight to reveal the story behind his big story, to help understand the culture of reggae music. Jarrod, the sound system has always played a big part of the development of reggae music. We now know you reside in Canada. Explain to us the situation with sound system and your experience on the sound system.
Well, Canada is home to some of the world's top songs, and it's just it's a beautiful thing. There's a lot. There's not just one sound. There's many sounds up here that are top, 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 world class. So, and they play around all the time. There's dances regular, and we also host big dances. All kinds of artists and other sounds come in. Like I grew going to dances like Stone Love coming here to Canada, like Bass Odyssey coming here to Canada, like Travelers coming here to Canada, like Caveman Sound. You know, all these sounds came here. It was a regular thing. Anytime a sound was coming up here, that's where you need to be. You just have to be there. You know, I used to have a little sound in my basement. Nothing big, but you know, I did a little thing for for the neighborhood. That was fun. But you know, that wasn't my forte to be a sound man. But to be amongst the sound men, yeah, man, yeah, we have plenty sound around us.
What was happening during that time whilst Caveman, Stone Love, and the other sound that you mentioned? What was actually happening in the dance? Talk to us. What did you
In the
see?
dance,
How what was the vibes, the energy like in those days in
yeah, man,
Canada?
it was great. It was great. It was great. Those days, not to say that gun violence wasn't a thing back then, but it wasn't so apparent, you know? It wasn't so apparent. People actually used to go out and enjoy themselves and want to dance and you know, drink their one juice or whatever the case may be that they're onto. People enjoyed that. That's why they came out. So you would go to a dance and actually full enjoy yourself. The sound systems would play some amazing music and have the people rocking the way that they should. This honestly is something we need to bring back again because I mean sound systems still come around. They still come and play. I think recently I think recently Stone Love was here. But the vibe now and then to me is different, you know. People come out nowadays to dance and enjoy themselves, but it's still hot, you know. People still have to still are looking over their shoulder, and it's just very different. And we need to bring back the love in the dance hall.
I'm happy that you mentioned that, Jarrett, because obviously there has been a change, and the change is obvious. From a reggae conscious artist, what is your take on that change? What did you think caused those change? And how do you think we could bring back that love that you speak about back in the dance?
What changed? Greed. I think it's greed. I don't know who's greedy, who's at the top and whatever, but there's politics. And politics, whenever there's politics involved in certain things, there'll be some change, you know. Now, how to bring it back? We have to be the same resilient people that we've ever been, you know, that we have ever been. The same resilience, the same any situation you put us in, we find a way to hold a joy. We find a way to give thanks. What held they talk about the slave ships. One of the things that kept the spirit of the slaves up and alive. Music, singing and dancing. They know they're gonna be tossed off a ship just now and get yam up by a shark, but they're singing and dancing to keep your spirits up. Maybe you can take my flesh, but you can't kill my spirit. So how do we bring back the love to the dancer? Just bring it back, yo.
Thank you so much for that. Now, we are streaming live on Facebook. For those persons out there, you could just get on the UVC Radio Facebook page and you could join in this interview live on Facebook. And feel free to have some fun with your Alexa devices as well by simply saying, Alexa, play UVC Radio. And you as well could be live with Fonsa Black alongside singer reggae artist Jarrett. Now, this is the excitement. This is the time that we all have been waiting for. Canada, America, Africa, Caribbean by extension. We now will be placing singer reggae artists in the spotlight to give us an acapella. Go for it.
Ian, acapella you want? All right. Truly, oh truly, love jam more
Roots
than
and culture.
diamond and ruby. All the foolery cannot move me. Natural is the mystic that grooves me. Eh, ah, ah, ah. Yes, I. Ja Roots, my Lord and Empress.
Yes, I, of course, people, you heard him. Yes, Jarrods, all the way from Canada. Want to take time to big up to all our listeners in Canada at the moment. Arlington Hinkson, big up yourself, mate. You full way. Africa,
My
wherever
name
you are in
Roadblock.
Africa. You get me? Wherever you are in the Caribbean as well, big up yourself. Jarrod, if persons want to hear more music by yourself, where are some of the platform that they could get your music at?
Yes, I. So I am on every digital platform that is out there. So just look for RHP Ja Roots and you will find my music. I'm on Spotify, Apple Tunes, iTunes, every whatever platform you use, it's there. If you're looking for me on Facebook or Instagram, you're gonna look for Chef Hinkson. Or you can same way type in RHP Ja Roots and Chef Hinkson will also show up. It's the same me one. So there you have it, folks.
And if there's a promoter out there who just listened to this interview, I would like to invite you over on a show. What are the best contact to get you on?
Best contact, go to Instagram. Instagram is easy. Look for Chef Hinkson or RHP Ja Roots and it will show up. I'm there.
Currently, what is the next big project that you are working on that your fans could expect coming from Jarroots very soon?
Well, I'm not gonna reveal too much, but there's works being done right now. So yes, I just know that there's works coming. Enjoy this album, and there's more in due time.
Right. Just before we go, let's talk a bit about this album. There is a new album, right? So can you just let the listeners know the name of the album and how persons could access that album? And how many
So
songs is comprised on this album as well?
currently, the album is called Thanks and Praise, and there are 8 songs on this album, and you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Tunes, and whatever digital platform you use. There are 8 songs on that album. I also have a few singles that I released prior to that album, which you can look out for as well. They are also uploaded on the digital platforms. So one of the songs, my first release was Ababa Janai, which is available on all digital platforms. I also released Daughter of Zion, that is available on all digital platforms. And I also released Ayawo, which is also available on all digital platforms, as well as the 8 song EP, Thanks and Praise, which includes songs like Do Good, Jah is Love, Thanks and Praise, Father Divine, and Truly, and many more. Yes, I.
Amazing. Of course, it has been a pleasure placing you in the spotlight to reveal the story behind your big story, to help understand the people, to help understand the culture of reggae music coming from Canada. Before we come to an end of this interview, Jarrod, is there
Yes, sir.
anyone out there you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Almighty God, Kedamawi Haile Selassie, and shout out to my whole hench family, and shout out to Roadblock, and shout out to my brothers, man like Trooper, man like Cash. Shout out to the maddest producer on the planet, yo, Sheila and Buckler Rhythms Forever. Shout out to mom and dad. You see me? Shout out to the whole Congress, EABIC, Most High, Selassie, Jah,
Right.
Rastafari, bless and sanctify forever, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess, Universal. We give thanks for being here and we give thanks for your hosting, man like Fonzo Black. This has been a pleasure.
Jarrod, it
Yes,
has been a
sir.
pleasure talking to you as well.
Give
And we
thanks.
wish you all the best, all the
Give,
success in your musical journey. Thank you
give
so
thanks.
much. I will
Give
leave
thanks.
you with the song Father Divine by
Give thanks.
Jarrod, right here on UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together.
No time, I commit no crime. My Father divine, liberation cry. Earth, sea, and sky, the heavens declaring the glory. While world
Yes, I.
lie